Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Guilds of Ravnica. Without further ado, let's slam dunk our Pack 1 Pick 1 Mythic. Tristani Discordant is a tremendously powerful card. So powerful, in fact, that it can convince us to go into one of the weakest color pairs in the format, which is Selesnya. This is a 5-mana 1/4 that comes with two 1/1s with lifelink and gives all of your creatures +1/+1, so it comes with two 2/2s with lifelink until they kill Tristani herself. Really, really nice card, especially in an archetype that wants to play a really high creature count in the first place, where that +1/+1 buff is going to be antheming up a bunch of your board. So we'll start with Tristani Discordant here. Slightly sad to be starting a draft in Selesnya, but if it's for a reason as powerful as this, it is certainly worth it. Well, we are no longer starting a draft in Selesnya because there are no good Selesnya cards here. Peacemaker, Devkarn Dissident, and Righteous Blow all being quite filler. The best card in this pack by a lot is Murmuring Mystic. This thing is super, super absurd. Blue is probably the strongest color in the format, whereas green is the weakest. There's just a lot of really efficient instants and sorceries in blue, both in Dimir, blue-black, and Izzet, blue-red. So the Murmuring Mystic is a huge army in a can and an excellent, almost even mythic uncommon. So I'm going to speculate on that here, and now we have two distinct directions to go. We're either Selesnya, or we're going to be Izzet or Dimir. Depends on what we get past here. Pick 3 is a little bit of a crossroads here. We have Artful Takedown being an excellent removal spell for Dimir to go with our Murmuring Mystic. But we also have District Guide for a really solid value play to go with our Tristani Discordant. I don't generally recommend trying to do something 5-color in this set, but District Guide could help us out if we want to do that, like playing Tristani Discordant and Murmuring Mystic in the same deck. There are no green-blue cards or white-blue cards, so there's no green-blue or white-blue Guildgate. So we can't just be like Selesnya / Murmuring Mystic super easily, but District Guide would help do that. But Selesnya is not even going to play that many instants or sorceries either, which is kind of awkward. I mean, I feel like I'm supposed to just take Artful Takedown, go with the Murmuring Mystic here. But mostly we want to just have this draft move along pretty naturally here and see as we get later on what colors are getting represented the most and jump onto that color pair. For now, it looks like we're in a really reasonable position to just stick to Dimir. We get a Whisper Agent here or a Devious Cover-Up. Both are pretty fine. I like the Whisper Agent a little more. I think it's a little more important. There are several really good counter spells at common for Dimir. But Devious Cover-Up can double as a win condition. If you have 2 copies of it, you can loop them indefinitely as you grind out the game. But I think Whisper Agent a little better up front. Now, Luminous Bonds is the best card out of green, white, blue, or black in the pack, and it's by a pretty good margin. It's also really good with Sumala Woodshaper. If Selesnya is open, these are going to get passed all over the place. And then this becomes a draw spell that can pick up a creature, or maybe even a removal spell if we've got Luminous Bonds. Pick 6, there's a Dimir Guildgate to help with Dimir mana, or there is a Beacon Bolt to be blue-black-red to be Grixis. It's a pretty late Beacon Bolt, pick 6. That's a pretty great sign there for a really instant sorcery-heavy blue-black-red deck. And that is exactly where Murmuring Mystic is going to be excellent. So I kind of want to take that, but Hazna Marshal, definitely an option towards Selesnya. I feel like the kind of Dimir options we've been seeing so far have been a little better than the Selesnya options outside of our Pack 1 Pick 1. And yeah, now we see Watcher in the Mist and Notion Rain and Direct Current, which I think all 3 of these are better than Ladev Guardian or Generous Stray. So I'm thinking this is a don't get glued to your first pick kind of draft, and we go Dimir Murmuring Mystic, or is it Murmuring Mystic? And we could go either way. We have 1 red card, 1 black card. The Whisper Agent is hybrid. Since we could go either way, do I take Watcher in the Mist here? Or do I just take Notion Rain because it's so good for like a Grixis Spells deck? Fills that grave for the Beacon Bolt. So direct current's like 2 removal spells. I think I just take Notion Rain here. Ooh. Well, might have played better to just take the Watcher in the Mist there, because that would fit in with either color at the core, and Crackling Drake really needs red to be the core of our deck, but it's really, really good. Makes it super worth it to play red splashing the black. Yeah, I'm going to take the Crackling Drake. Card's busted. It's really high power, plus it draws you a card when you play it to immediately replace itself. This is an easy Guild Gates. This is an easy Muse Drake. And this is an easy Draft. There's another Muse Drake. Devious Cover Up this late. Dimir Informant is fine as well. But let's take the Cover Up here. Wall of Mist, probably not playing it. Maximize Altitude, we're probably not playing. And here we go, pack 2, pick 1. Izzet Guildgate is actually a pretty high pickup for this deck, because we're probably blue-red splash black. But there's also Watcher in the Mist, which is excellent, and Midnight Reaper, which is quite good. This is a lot better in a heavier, like a more creature-heavy deck, but it's still perfectly fine, even by itself, that it just trades off and replaces itself. I think all 3 of these would be very, very reasonable options, but I want to go like really, really all in on the instant sorcery where I don't have a lot towards Midnight Reaper. Plus we have this Crackling Drake wanting us to be much heavier into red than black, so Midnight Reaper would be off the splash here. Actually just gonna go for the Watcher, I think, and try to keep more red than black here for pretty much the rest of the draft. And again, the Midnight Reaper's not like the craziest in our deck because it's not the most synergistic. No, get past Amara, so we definitely could have still been Selesnya, but I mean, at this point, this Grixis control deck still looks really good, and we're pretty far down that path. We can't really go back now. Take a Watcher in the Mist or an Unexplained Disappearance out of this one. Let's grab another Watcher. Now we have another Artful Takedown off the splash, or a Goblin Electromancer to make our spells a little cheaper. We get that Artful Takedown in here. Another Murmuring Mystic. Well, pretty happy we stuck to blue, because that's ridiculous. Card is absurd. There's another Izzet Guildgate competing with Whisper Agent. Piston Fist Cyclops, maybe. We need Mana Fixing pretty bad here. I'm going to grab the Guildgate. Pick 6, Night Veil Predator. Oh my god. What if we do these the other way? Because Night Veil Predator is like unstoppable. Been a long time since they've printed a Hexproof card. So y'all might not remember, but Hexproof is really stupid. Really, really stupid. So maybe Dimir Splash the red? We did end up with a little more Dimir cards than red cards outside of the Crackling Drake now that we have Notion Rain double takedown. I guess. There's Dimir Spybug. If everything in our deck surveils, this thing gets real big real fast. I'm taking that over an Izzet Guildgate, which is slightly awkward, but there's nothing else in the pack outside of that Guildgate. Another Whisper Agent looks pretty good. Helps us hold up Devious Cover Up or Artful Takedown with another option if we don't need to cast any of those. We just slam down a creature. Another Izzet Guildgate looks great, but this is also a pretty good Darkblade Agent deck with the amount of surveilling we're going to have going on. I don't hate that either. I think the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 surveil cards right now. Maybe a little low for Agent. I'm going to take the Guildgate. Guildgate is still really, really good. Really important here. Now we get great interaction with Thought Erasure. Some hand disruption, make them discard their best card. It also surveils for our Spybug. I don't think I'm splashing in any of these red cards. Toss one in the side. There we go, still get a Darkblade Agent. Not bad at all. Not playing any of this. Not playing any of this. And we've got a whole third pack to improve this deck now. Let's go. Pack 3, pick 1. Ooh, this is a hard pick. So Thoughtbound Phantasm is busted if you drop it turn 1. Not a super great top deck in the late game, but if you drop this turn 1, thing can attack in as a 5/5 later in the game relatively easily for a Surveil heavy deck. And we already have a Dimir Spybug, so we're trying to be a Surveil heavy deck. But the problem is Price of Fame is incredible removal. It's instant speed, it's really easy to cast. Just a single black and 3 more. It surveils when you play it, which means it triggers the Spybug and stuff, and it's a really premium instant or sorcery to go with our double Murmuring Mystic. I think for a couple reasons, one of the big ones being the double Murmuring Mystic, I'm going to take Price of Fame over Thoughtbound Phantasm, but those are both insanely good cards for this deck. Now we've got a Notion Rain, which triggers our Surveil cards and our instant sorcery cards. City Watch Sphinx is nice too, big finisher, but I think we're doing good on finishers between the Spybug and the double Mystic. Those are big ways to try to win the game here. Another Dimir Guildgate is a huge pickup, but the Radical Idea is a great way to cast multiples of instants and sorceries pretty easily. So that's an option too. But I want to make sure our mana base is real good here. And we still get past the Thoughtbound Phantasm pick 4. I'll take that over Artful Takedown when we have double Takedown Price of Fame now. That's actually a little lower on removal. I mean, we've got double Artful Takedown Price of Fame and a Beacon Bolt. But still, maybe we actually do still take another Artful Takedown here. Double Murmuring Mystic, already a lot of ways to win a game just off of 2 copies of that. I don't know, Thoughtbound Phantasm is just sick though. I'm gonna take it here. Oh my god, third Murmuring Mystic. I should have taken that Artful Takedown because I can't take this one over a third Murmuring Mystic. Good lord. Yeah, we should have just been all spells deck. Ask the Phantasm, take the takedown. F's in the chat. We cut and maximize altitude. There a good instant or sorcery here? Sure is. Unexplained Disappearance. Let's take the good instant or sorcery. Cut the most mediocre creature. That's Wall of Mist. Get out of here. And get in Unexplained Disappearance. Because we're now at 23 non-lands, 4 non-basics. So we're just going to keep picking up spells and cutting creatures. Notion Rain's pretty good. Sinister Sabotage, also pretty good. We already have double Notion Rain, so I think I'm going to take the Sabotage on this one, and we will cut... Weirdly enough, I think one of these Muse Drakes, just because we have so much at 4 mana. No, I'd rather cut Dowser of Lights, actually. We'll cut Dowser of Lights for the Sinister Sabotage. We've got 2 Dimir Guildgates and 2 Izzet Guildgates. I think I can get away with taking more good spells to trigger our triple Murmuring Mystic, overtaking the Guildgates. Here, because the option is a creature or a Guildgate, I can go ahead and take the Guildgate. Because I don't really want to play more creatures. I would just be, like, moving the creatures around at this point, like cutting a Muse Drake for another Watcher in the Mist, which is fine. It's good. Or cutting a Muse Drake for a Darkblade Agent, which is fine and good, but I think it's just more of an improvement to cut an Island or Swamp for a Dimir Guildgate. Wow! Well, okay then. Join the team, Thoughtbound Phantasm number 2. And I guess we cut a Muse Drake on that one. Because now we're really just all Surveil and all Instants and Sorceries, the deck. We just cut double Muse Drake now. Let's have double Darkblade Agent with our whole Surveil team. Radical Idea. It's really good with the triple Mystic. I think that's probably worth dropping one of these Darkblade Agents. Artful Takedown, pick 12. Okay, goodbye other Darkblade Agent then. My lord. Hopefully that's it for playables. It would be insane to wheel the other takedown. Yeah, we're good. Alright, well, there we go. That's the deck. We cut it as we went, so we've got it all at the ready here. I don't think our mana's good enough to throw this Crackling Drake in here, but it is good enough for the Beacon Bolt. It's good enough for the double blue, double black Nightveil Predator, and this is going to be stupid. I mean, how much Surveil did we end up getting? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in the deck that Surveil to trigger Thoughtbound Phantasms and Dimir Spybug. super nasty. And for the Murmuring Mystic, there's for the Murmuring Mystic, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 instant sorceries. This deck's nasty. This deck's gonna be sick. Let's check our counts here. We're on 4 red sources for our 1 Beacon Bolt right now. We are on 6, 7, 8, 9 black sources, and we're on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blue. 9-9-4 split seems decent to me. We have 22 blue cards, only 11 black. I might cut the 4th red source for another blue. So we're on a 10-9 split with our main 2 colors and still have 3 colors of our splash thanks to all these guild gates. 3 sources of our splash, I should say. Seems fine. Beacon Bolt can be our late game card as a 2-for-1 removal to recover later on, so we can wait for one of the 3 red sources. We do digging for it pretty well with this deck with all the Surveil going on and a little bit of good card draw with the Notion Reigns. This looks really, really good to me, and I'm going to call it a deck here. Alright, here's a look at the final deck list for today. We're on a Dimir Surveil deck, splashing a little bit of red for some great Beacon Bolt removal. We have a ton of Surveil payoffs, the Thoughtbound Phantasms, and the Dimir Spybug all getting bigger every time we Surveil, and we have 10 cards that Surveil in this deck, which isn't like a million, but because they all Surveil, they're all helping hit each other, because we can Surveil towards the other Surveil cards, and we can do it pretty consistently and make these cards absolutely massive for just really cheap mana values. So those are some really big finishers right there, just by surveilling all the time throughout the game. But we also have another axis that this deck fights on, which is instants and sorceries. We have 3 Murmuring Mystic, which give us a 1/1 flyer every time we cast an instant or sorcery spell, and we have like 12 instants and sorceries in this deck, so that is another way that we are just making a huge board to end the game with, just while casting our spells we already want to play. So really, really nasty stuff here. Tons of incredible finishers in this deck, and they're kind of cheap ones, you know, the cheap Surveil cards, and then the Army in a Can off the Murmuring Mystics, so it looks like a really sweet deck, especially when we're triggering these cards by just playing spells that are already good. We're triggering Murmuring Mystic by playing a bunch of great removal like Artful Takedowns and Beacon Bolt and stuff, and we're triggering all our Surveil cards off of playing great removal like Price of Fame, great counterspells like Sinister Sabotage, good card draw like Notion Reigns. So, looks like a really, really sweet deck, and I'm excited to see how it does as we head into the gameplay. Alright, here we are on the play for Game 1. Obviously, the lack of creatures here is pretty disappointing. We'd like to have one of our big explosive payoffs, but I think with turn 2 Thought Erasure to see exactly what's going on, and 2 different pieces of interaction, it's still a very reasonable opener. So it's the Dimir Mirror match, and their hand is all creatures, which is awkward. I think I get rid of Plague Crafter, because if I draw one of my Thoughtbound Phantasm or Dimir Spybug style cards, and they can just Plague Crafter it, that's going to be pretty bad for me. I guess I could get rid of Whisper Agent, because like they're not going to want to play the Plague Crafter until we play a creature, so that holds them off of doing anything till turn 4 and onward. Yeah, maybe it's actually Whisper Agent here. We'll see how that plays out for us. If nothing else, we have the cover up, and we know that they have the Plague Crafter in hand. We can play around it. Draws are awkward so far. We've hit 7 lands already. Very early in the game. 7 lands, 3 non-lands. Oh, they're just going to run out the Plague Crafter? Sure, 3 mana make me discard 1 card is fine with me. I have plenty of lands to discard right now. I probably shouldn't have played this at Guildgate. I mean, we know 2 of their 4-drops, and I'm not scared of Muse Drakes, so... I think it was fine to not hold up cover up. We can take down the Sprite during their end step. But the draws are certainly still looking awkward for us so far. Alright, they're just going to pass. They're still stuck on 3, so they can't cast anything else here anyway. Next turn they cast a Muse Drake. Notion Rain, perfect. Not exactly perfect. I don't get to hold up a cover-up, but they're probably just going land Muse Drake based on what we've seen, so I'm gonna draw Sinister Sabotage. Well, there we go. We still have a counterspell. Where are the win conditions? We have 6 of them. 2 Thoughtbound Phantasm, 1 Demure Spybug, 3 Murmuring Mystic. We're looking for any of those cards, ideally. Any of them. I'm going to counter this just to surveil. Make the most of my mana. There we go. I guess I don't have the mana to hold up anything alongside this, which is awkward. I need 8 mana to play this and hold up a cover-up to protect it. I think that's just not going to happen. Let's just drop the Mystic and hope their best play is land Muse Drake. Nope, they top decked a Price of Fame somewhere. That is brutal. Well, there we go. There's a new win condition. Not quite as good as the Murmuring Mystic, but it is certainly good. And because it's only 1 mana, we get to hold up our counterspell here. Which, I actually don't hate doing this. I still have 2 removal spells in hand for anything that resolves, and this way I get to put the Murmuring Mystic back into the deck, so we have 3 we can draw into again. Up our non-land count, up our valuable draws. Demure Spybug, that is very dead. Pass Wall Adept, sure. I'm going to Price of Fame so we can trigger the Phantasm and set up our draws. Find Artful Takedown. I don't actually really like Artful Takedown right now with Phantasm on board. That I do like. Notion Rain. Find Night Veil Predator to Demure Spybug. Yep, those are good draws. Drop the Hexproofer, and that's a great finisher against a controlling deck, as they just can't ever target it to kill it. They can kill the Phantasm off of any removal, but not the Predator. So here comes the Muse Drake. They draw another card. But Predator attacks right through that. I'll hold on to this land in case we draw into jumpstart stuff. We have a Beacon Bolt as the best jumpstart card, but also like Radical Ideas are decent. There's Crawl Swarm. They can discard a creature to put it back in their hand. And most importantly, it's big enough to trade into Night Veil Predator. Alright. Bad draws are bad. I guess we get to play one of our lands, though, at that point. And an unblockable Pass Wall Adept, since I'm not attacking on the ground anyway. A Murmuring Mystic is a good draw. Not like a really good draw, but a good draw. Really good draws for us right now are actually just Surveil spells, hilariously. Do I hold off on this? Kind of want to hold off on this till I top deck an instant sorcery so I can play it and an instant sorcery immediately. But it's not going to block anything. It's not going to attack at all. This might be wrong, but I'm just going to hold it. Play around a devious cover-up or something. No! Thoughtbound Phantasm has been capture sphered. We do have an unexplained disappearance in this deck we could use to bounce our own Phantasm and save it. But apparently our opponent is also flooding out, and they are done. They are over it. We start things off 1-0 heading into Game 2. Alright, here we are on the draw for Game 2 against a red deck, hopefully not Boros. On the draw against Boros is terrifying. And I am a masterclass at jinxing myself, honestly. We can drop a Thoughtbound Phantasm and cast Unexplained Disappearance next turn, so we just Radical Idea this turn, and that's fine. We'll have a 3/3 blocker up and bounce one of their creatures next turn. Oh boy. Slightly tempted to bounce one right now, but I really like getting the counters on Phantasm. Oh boy. Hold up. Double Phantasm before we Unexplained Disappearance? Maybe that's a thing? No, because I kind of need to trade one of these into the Ornery Goblin this turn. On blocks. Then I can like double Phantasm this turn, block an Ornery Goblin with one. Next turn I can Murmuring Mystic, and then I use like Unexplained Disappearance, Artful Takedown stuff. I don't know, like against Boros, we're gonna win the long game pretty much every time, so I guess we have to just use our Thoughtbound Phantasms as just chump fodder. Sure, the Phantasms can get really big and take over the game, but trading our 1-drop into their 2-drop aggro card is fine. Like, if you just eliminate your love for Thoughtbound Phantasm from the equation and just look at the trade that's actually happening on board, trading a 1-drop into their 2-drop creature while they're on the aggressive or into a combat trick of theirs while they're on the aggressive is more than worth it. Yeah, this is so fine. We actually traded it into a full-on removal spell. Okay, that bodyguard is not so fine. I probably have to be on Artful Takedown here, again, because if we can get the game to go long, we're going to win, so we need to lose out on a little bit of value, like losing out on a flyer from this Artful Takedown, in order to make sure the game lasts longer and we're not just taking like 8 here trying to greed our way into more flyers. We're definitely killing the flyer, which means we actually tap Goblin and -2/-4 the Legionnaire. And then the bodyguard can't attack because it's alone. We take 0 this turn. We don't have to trade Phantasm off yet either. Another bodyguard. So I can either Murmuring Mystic, and that's the only spell I cast, or I can Whisper Agent and Unexplained Disappearance. I think we're going to Whisper Agent and Unexplained Disappearance here. That's going to make Phantasm a 4/4 to block a 3/3 bodyguard, and we can have a Whisper Agent block the other 3/3 bodyguard. Keep an Artful Takedown. I could trade into Ornery Goblin instead, bounce the bodyguard. They have to recast it with no other creatures on board. If I can strand a bodyguard, that's just really good value. Let's work towards stranding a bodyguard here, I think. Thoughtbound Phantasm is gross. Alright, I'm incredibly close to like completely stable at this point. A 4/4 blocker. Yeah, they have to tap out to kill it and have no creatures on board. Then if they don't have removal from Murmuring Mystic, this takes over the game. Do play the red source here, but I discard any other red sources we find to Radical Idea, or just any other lands, period. Thought Eraser's real good here. Check out their last card in hand, which is a good 6-drop. It's really good, actually, against Murmuring Mystic. Could Artful take down an Ornery Goblin? What happens if I don't do that? They send him with a 3/2 Ornery Goblin. Yeah, I guess I do. I guess I should have done that on my turn. I could have poked them for 1. They'd be at 19. 1 damage is not super relevant, probably, but maybe. Alright, they're over it. Murmuring Mystic is going to be enough to really keep them from ever hitting us again. And they are done. We are now 2-0 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 3. Once again, none of our win condition-y creatures in the opener, but very, very good spells. And the Notion Rain can do some digging. I don't love the Notion Rain against Boros. I don't like shooting myself when I'm already going to take a bunch of damage from my opponent's creatures. You gotta do what you gotta do, and luckily they don't have a 2-drop. There we go. Alright, we found our win conditions. There's a Spy Bug and a Thoughtbound Phantasm. If I top deck an island, I'll cast just the Phantasm, but otherwise we just cast both because I can't hold anything up alongside them anyway. And we can't hold anything up alongside them anyway, so here they are. Here's our friends. Once again, I think we can pretty much always win the long game, so it might be worth trading Phantasm into Blade Instructor. Oh god, if they play a Legionnaire, then it's 100% worth it. Just get this out of my life. At this point, I'm taking 6 a turn. Okay. Oh no, the +2/+2 trick too? Yep. At least that's the one that's also a removal spell, so we got rid of the removal spell here. This might be bad enough I have to trade Spy Bug into the Blade Instructor. Which is sad, but again, we make the game go long. We're better at winning top deck wars by being in Boros. 1 mana up after this. Well, they have 1 mana up after this, I should say. Sabotage takes 6. Still 2 surveils away from Spybug being big enough to win combat against anything. No, I think I just price of Fame the Sky Knight Legionnaire still. Legionnaire's just a better card than the board. That's the 1 mana removal for Spybug. Get out of here. Get out of here. Well, I'm just gonna block Blade Instructor anyway, so I don't need the counter, so let's cover up. I should not have put Notion Rain back in my deck. I'm already gonna be really low. I don't want to shoot myself again. Alright. Price of Fame the Legionnaire next turn. Not a good draw. Take 3, go to 8. We can drop a 3/4 to block the 3/3. But we're just on Price of Fame for now for sure. Could also be a pre-combat sabotage if they play another haste threat. There's no indestructible trick in this format, is there? Oh, there's Chance of Glory. There's the mythic rare. Give the board indestructible, take another turn. That would get us. Hello, Blade Instructor number 2. No more threats. No more. Risk factor. They draw 3 or I take 4? And then they get to just do it again next turn. So they... Oh my god. They draw 6. Or I take 4 and they draw 3. Because I can't take 8. That's really, really good here. I guess I can Sinister Sabotage it next turn, so I can take 4. then I can sabotage the risk factor. What is this? You can save from -4 to a 1 toughness creature? Nope, they're just gonna risk factor me. Cool. Find a Whisper Agent. 7 mana. I'm just gonna play a Watcher, but Whisper is gonna be enough to block their next threat, so I think it's still worth drawing. Even if I'm not playing it this turn. There's Watcher to hold off the boar. Get these lands out of here. I need straight gas. But we're in a top deck war now, and this is where Dimir shines, because we are surveilling so much that we are going to draw better than them on average, but for life to 20, we need to draw much better than them. So it is still going to be a battle, for sure. I can Radical Idea and still have Whisper Agent up. Okay, double Whisper Agent is nice, for sure. I don't think I can afford to send this Watcher in. Like, sure, I can send it in, then I can Whisper Agent, trade Whisper Agent into board, but can alternatively just start sending in Whisper Agents and holding up a 4 toughness blocker, which feels much better. Just safer for sure. Actually, you can put a stop in your upkeep and cast this in your upkeep before you draw. That would have been better. Oh. Cool. Another Whisper Agent. Find Watcher in the Mist. That's a big one. Big one. I want to hold up 2 blockers at all times, which I have been doing because these have flash. Mystic's definitely good. Thought Erasure not so much in a top deck war. Cool. Dead on board if they don't trade off this turn, so we send it all in and force them into the trade. Or they can concede. That works as well. Scary game. Some pretty quick stuff from the Boros deck there, and that risk factor putting us under a lot of pressure, but just barely grinding out the long game thanks to all the surveil, setting up the draws, drawing better in the top deck war. That is how Dimir gets you, and we are now 3-0 heading into game 4. Alright, here we are for game 4. Thoughtbound Phantasm turn 1 into Thought Erasure turn 2. Looks good. We are on the draw. So they could get some good tempo here. Try to curve out real aggressively. They're on Golgari. Let's see what they've got. Prey Upon kind of sucks. Severed Strands kind of sucks. And this whole hand's not great, but the Assassin's the best card, I think. I'll mill a land here. We've got enough mana for everything in the hand already. We would just want more lands to be able to double spell later. Alright, take 2. Sure. 2 for 1 of them here. We killed their Gorgon and their Prey Upon at the cost of just a 1-drop, which is just excellent. Now we can drop Murmuring Mystic, and unless they play a creature to sack to the Severed Strands, it's gonna stick around, and even if they do, they just spent another 2 cards to kill 1 creature of ours again. But so far so good. Looks like Murmuring Mystic sticks around, and that is an excellent way to try to control out this game. We just kill everything they play and get birds while we do it. I'm going to save the Surveil for if we draw into another Thoughtbound Phantasm or the Spy Bug. So we'll go for the Artful Takedown here. Unless they Severed Strands, that's fine. Alright, they're just already going to 2-for-1 themselves into the Mystic. That is fine. Got like 2 2-for-1s for free. Centipede. That is whatever. They're out of cards. If they're out of cards, I'll kill the centipede. Actually, in the interest of drawing stuff, I will surveil here. Well, I guess I can just keep these cards and hit them for 3 a turn until they die. If I can counter everything they do. I could play a land so that I can technically sabotage and artful takedown in the same turn, but there's nothing they could cast that would make me do both of those things. Because if it would be good enough to make me cast 2 spells against it, I'll just counter it. Beacon Bolt is huge here. I would just have like infinite removal. I'll play the land so I can Artful Takedown instead of Sinister Sabotage if they just play another creature with an irrelevant enter the battlefield effect. That's a creature with an irrelevant enter the battlefield effect. I guess it's still better to Beacon Bolt though. Could Night Veil Predator, but I can also hold up the counterspell, which is safer, so we'll do that. And looks like our opponent is locked all the way out of this game at this point. We can Predator and still have the counterspell up. And I don't think there's anything they can draw into that saves them. And Deadweight's fine, and there's the concession. We are now 4-0 heading into Game 5. This is close to a mulligan. A 2-lander with a bunch of 3 and 4 mana pieces of interaction. But they're real good pieces of interaction. So I'm just going to keep playing against Izzet. Some blue-red stuff. They start with Discovery. Probably a mirror match. Blue-black-red then. Full Grixis. Although Discovery is playable. Feels safer to just hold up Sabotage. There are some pretty good 3-drops they could have. No! Oh, that's bad. That's actually a huge punishment there. Because they didn't cast the 3-drop, so if I just had a Thoughtbound Phantasm on board before the Whisper Agent, that'd be so big here. But now we get to really easily hold up Sinister Sabotage. Oh, Ionize? Sure. That actually plays out, well, plays out fine. We get them to counter Whisper Agent so they don't have the counter for something better like Murmuring Mystic. At this point, I might just be on Thoughtbound Phantasm if they're just a draw-go control deck. But if I run out Thoughtbound Phantasm, they can just have the direct current 2 damage to any target thing, double it up. Plus, I don't have Sinister Sabotage up. So we hit our 3rd land on time, but we have missed several land drops from there. Things are starting to look a little sketchy, but our opponent's deck's pretty slow, so we still have time to find mana, but we're certainly behind. Okay, cool. Actually not cool. Wait. Oh, yeah, that's the wrong land. I can't actually Thoughtbound Phantasm holding up Sinister Sabotage here. So I can still only cast a creature without holding anything up, so it would be casting Murmuring Mystic and hoping they don't have the counter unless you pay 4. Or sorry, the counter something that costs 4 or more. I guess we just hold up our stuff then. Because I could just Artful Takedown in the end step, or I just have counter spells up. I can just take 1 damage a turn till I hit another blue source specifically. My grave sucks, I don't need to cover up here, but I could Sabotage. I think I would rather just Artful Takedown. Worst case scenario, this taps them out of their counter unless we pay 4. Or counter something with mana value 4 or greater. Why do I keep getting that mixed up? Disdainful Stroke. That's the name. Well, they definitely have it. No, they don't. They're just going to bounce their own thing to save it. Never mind. They still tap out of counter mana. So, that's not the source I need. to hold up a counterspell while playing Thoughtbound Phantasm, but now I could play Phantasm and Mystic and just be like, alright, well, deal with one of them, hopefully only one. And then we try to take over with the other one on future turns. I could just tap out for a Watcher in the Mist while they can't interact, but then they untap and probably kill it. That's fine. I can surveil towards the blue. I don't know. I'm just going to present 2 must-be-dealt-with threats. I have 2 more Murmuring Mystics in the deck. And another Thoughtbound Phantasm in there. And if this gets them to throw removal at these, I can shuffle them back in with Cover-Up. Go back to having 3 to draw into. Yeah, Severed Strands is fine. Does the Thoughtbound Phantasm stay? Oh god, no. Hey, Zenith Flare. Love to see you, buddy. At least we have double counterspell in this hand, but that is frustrating. Now we just have to hold up counterspells for dear life, because as soon as they surveil, that goes back to their hand, and we need to recounter it so that they don't keep recasting it every single turn. Have to hit an untapped blue source specifically to be okay with tapping or casting Notion Rain here. To be okay with tapping a single island, we have to immediately draw another one, so we're in too risky of a position to do either of these against Disinformation Campaign. I don't think there's anything in Grixis that can pick up a Disinformation Campaign from their graveyard, so I don't think we need to exile it to Devious Cover-Up. So I'm probably going to go for Sinister Sabotage to get a counter on Phantasm here and get that started. Although I could go for mana efficiency with the Devious Cover-Up, because it's easier to go like Notion Rain plus Sabotage than it is Notion Rain plus Cover-Up on a later turn. Yeah, actually I kind of think I need to go for mana efficiency here. Just let them resolve whatever they want this turn. At some point I have to hit the 3rd blue source. Let's dig for it. Wow. I guess I'll just stop holding up counterspells. Because they're really good cards that aren't blue sources. Yikes. Well, that was a 1 turn late island. Okay, well now they have a resolved threat that's absolutely massive, so holding up a counterspell doesn't even help that much. Plus I'm gonna Thought Erasure their best spell from their hand here. So let's get the Spybug down and then Thought Erasure. Inescapable Blaze for sure. They get to deadweight the Spybug, which is a little sad, but whatever. There's an Artful Takedown, which doesn't kill the Gargoyle, but it gets close. Still taps it and kills the Informant for a turn, which isn't bad. It buys us some time. I think it's worth it for buying us the time. I'm going to keep this 2 mana up so they have to consider playing around like Unexplained Disappearance. Saving the Spybug. That's an incredible top deck. And their Surveil is another good card. They kept it on top here, so they're just hitting straight gas. How much more Jumpstart is in this deck? 1 Beacon Bolt. Unless I draw into Beacon Bolt. Better to just get the tap land out of the way to have the mana up. Oh man. Yikes. Literal 1 turn late price of fame. Because I can only kill 1 and I can't draw any cards. Gross. Well. That's magic. Well played from our opponent, holding on to the Gargoyle. Waiting for the opportunity to get around the counterspell. Maybe could have got there if we were incredibly patient. Didn't give up on drawing the blue source eventually. Just held up the counterspell at all times. But our draws really did not help. And that will be our first loss after our big undefeated streak. Alright, whatever, Arena. We'll get funky with it. Oh, don't give me double blue spells right now. Oh my god, am I going to miss land drops when I kept a 3-lander? No. I am gonna hit a ridiculously low amount of blue sources in these 2 games in a row, though. Playing against Selesnya this time, getting beat down by a Def Karn Dissident for now. There's a Ladev Guardian. Really, man? Actually wild. What numbers are we running again? 10 blue sources, right? 1, 2, 3, 4... 9 blue sources. The 9-9 split. I guess I just do this. I think I'd actually rather kill the Dissident because it can threaten to attack as like a 4-4 later. Who needs blue mana? Just keep killing their resolved threats, I guess. No counterspells for us. Oops, forgot to kill something. Free combat, but that's fine. I can go ahead and just Price of Fame this time. Just surveil into the blue source, hopefully. There we go. There we go, we found the second. No! This literally wouldn't have happened if I had more blue. It also wouldn't have happened if I accidentally skipped through combat to where I had to block there. These bird tokens are looking real sweet right now. Kill the Iron Shell Beetle and the Skyline Scout. Whisper Agent away the Peacemaker and save my removal and my counter spells for better stuff. Alright. It's going to be a long one, but we are definitely really good at grinding it out. That is what Dimir does. I think we are in an excellent spot here. One mana off. I'm going to hold off on that. I will go one turn of no counterspell to resolve Watcher in the Mist, because it'll be a really long time before I can Watcher in the Mist and hold up Devious Cover Up. Could cast either of these and hold it up. Let's go Spybug, because that can attack even before we put any counters onto it. Luminous Bonds on the Watcher, fair enough. We've got one bounce spell we could hit, that'd be really good to save that. Sure. That's the land we need, so next turn I can play the Mystic and have the cover up held up still. Hold this for jumpstart cards. Let's see what they're holding on to. More Luminous Bonds, maybe? Yep, that's a lot of Luminous Bonds. Ooh, there's Unexplained Disappearance. That's a huge one. I guess the one kind of tragic aspect here is that I will remove the +1/+1 counters from the Spybug if I pick that up with the Unexplained Disappearance. Guess I can just pick up the Watcher. Immediately pretty big. Alright, our opponent is over. The Murmuring Mystic nonsense card is pretty unbeatable if it sticks around a few turns, and so they're done with the game. We are now 5-1. We are guaranteed in the money out of this draft no matter what. So really excellent spot to be for our final draft of Guilds of Ravnica, but we'll take it as far as we can as we head into game number 7. And here we are for game 7. We get to curve out with Spybug into Whisper Agent here. The Beacon Bolt in the opener could be awkward, and the constant no double blue we've been experiencing lately on our 50-50 split. Maybe I should cut a swamp for another island. Probably go 10-8 here. With how things have gone, don't hate that at all. Probably should adjust the deck between rounds, but I'll probably forget again. Not holding up any instants that actually matter right now, so I might as well hit for one more. Uh-oh, are they just stuck on mana here? Cover up their first play, or we can double Radical Idea if they don't cast anything. So far, so good on not casting anything, but this could be Artful Takedown trying to kill this stuff, and if I just counter any removal they have, they're just gonna die. They're taking 5 a turn, that's already enough to kill them in just 3 swings. Yep. These are all pretty fine cards. Beacon Bolt the Murmuring Mystic. And see how they recover from this. We don't have a counterspell right now. I could draw into one with Notion Rain. They can respond to the Notion Rain with Artful Takedown. That'd be their best play if they have the Artful Takedown. Because if you see me Notion Raining pre-combat, it probably means I don't have the counter, and yep, there they go. Solid play from our opponent. Radical Idea can't hit the counter and have the mana up for it, so yeah, that resolves. Wouldn't have hit the counterspell anyway. Burglar Rat. Discard a Radical Idea. They tap out for another blocker, we can just Artful Takedown both and kill them. They probably have Unexplained Disappearance in hands to go to 2 here. Bounce one of the agents. Yep, go to 2, it's gonna be. I could play this in my upkeep if I put a stop there to help control what I'm gonna draw into. But I can just Beacon Bolt this thing. No matter what I draw. Beacon Bolting because the Artful Takedown can get rid of 2 blockers. And they're so low on life, it doesn't matter if we permanently kill them or not. Just tapping a really big one is just as good. And there's a concession from our opponent. They just really got stuck on mana on that one. And that is going to lead us to 6-1, heading into the final boss with this deck. All the way to a potential trophy run here if we can get a victory in this final battle. Alright, here we are on the play for what could be the final battle. This hand is a little slower than it looks because of the tap lands, sadly. But we still get to play a Thoughtbound Phantasm before we play 3 different really good Surveil spells, so it's still an excellent way to start things off. Do I hold up a Sinister Sabotage against a green deck with only 3 mana available? Nope. Not if they already kill the Phantasm. If they didn't kill the Phantasm, maybe it would be worth holding up the Sabotage to try to counter cheap removal. Actually, draw both of these. We're trying to get to 5 mana for Watcher. Next turn we play Dimir Guildgate, hold up Sinister Sabotage. Oh, I forgot to adjust my mana base and cut a swamp for another blue source. First Wild Trooper, not the greatest. That is just a fine target for Beacon Bolt soon enough. Not quite yet, but soon. Generous Stray, sure. Get your little card draw here. I have to wait until I have 8 mana to cast a Watcher in the Mist while holding up a counterspell alongside it, and we currently have 7 in hand. It might not be horrible to just hold up counters here, but we are taking 3 a turn now. I think I'm going to Watcher in the Mist and set up my draws. I have to wait another 3 turns to Watcher if I want to hold up a counterspell alongside it. That is just a while. Need to wait 2 turns to Murmuring Mystic and hold up a counter. So we actually draw the Agent first and then draw the Mystic. But they're both good draws. By putting the Agent on top, we get to hold up a counterspell and cast Agent if we don't counter something next turn. If I block here, they discard a creature from your hand, or from their hand, to trade into Watcher in the Mist. And our Watcher is probably better than the worst creature in their hand. Especially when they have 6 cards in hand here. Urban Utopia. Draw a card. And now they have perfect mana off that land. And of any color. There's an Iron Shell Beetle. Yeah, so we would have traded Watcher in the Mist into an Iron Shell Beetle, which would not have been ideal. Could Beacon Bolt a 1/1, but I would rather just save it for something bigger. If they counter something, or if they cast something I really need to counter, I would rather cover up than Sabotage plus Whisper Agent, because being able to Mystic hold up Sabotage next turn is going to be so good. Plus, I'm not getting any value off of the Sinister Sabotage Surveil. Or the Whisper Agent Surveil, because we're just going to keep a Murmuring Mystic on top. I can just Beacon Bolt that. I guess I don't get to hold up a counterspell and Beacon Bolt that. Or play a Murmuring Mystic, Beacon Bolt it, and hold up a counterspell. Yeah. Actually kind of interesting. I think I still just play it really, really safe here. Because the only game we've lost was just not playing it over the top safe. Feels like every time we've played it just ridiculously safe. It's just been pretty much unlosable, so let's just play it ridiculously safe and always have the counterspells up. We lose a 1/1 flyer here, but it is almost definitely worth it. Trying to leave stuff in grave for the Beacon Bolt. Could still shuffle the Thoughtbound Phantasm in, but again, that's not like a great draw off the top. I'll trade Whisper Agent into whatever's in their hand. I think that's okay. I could have double blocked here, actually. That would have been reasonable. They have to discard a creature. And then we still kill the Trooper. Oh my god, our Whisper Agent traded into a 6/6? Let's go. We probably would have lost if we did not play it immensely safe. Because they would have stolen our Murmuring Mystic. Wow. Alright, well, what we've learned today is to just play it so safe with this kind of deck. Cool. We have a 1/5 a 3/3, a 3/2, and a 1/1 flyer on blocks. I feel like that's more than enough for this board state. Send in the Watcher and the 1/1 flyer there. Fine Broker's a very good card. Only picks up permanents, luckily. They can't try to reconnive, steal the Murmuring Mystic again. There's the dead weight. Kill the Phantasm. I've got the Whisper Agent in response, which is kind of gross. They're just going to post-combat Deadweight Murmuring Mystic, I guess. Alright, cool. Get rid of their Generous Stray. You want to plop down the Whisper Agent to take 1 less point of damage here? Not really. Isn't they just deadweight the Whisper Agent? Just make them wait a turn for it. Okay, they're just going to mitigate the Watcher. Make a little less damage. Well, that's pretty good. Pick it up and recast it here. Get another bird. Surveil another 2. Not the perfect mana to do that. Actually Surveil 3 because the Disappearance surveils as well. They have 2 cards left in their hand. And we're slowly killing them in the sky on board. Oh, no. Chamber Sentry? They have 3 different colors of mana. They can shoot anything for 3 with that. They can't return it from grave. I might want to Beacon Bolt that instead of casting another Murmuring Mystic with no other instant sorceries in hand right now. I mean, I guess it's not, like, insanely scary. Could, like, randomly try to get close to lethal here. 4, 5, 6. I guess if I do this and then I Beacon Bolt the Chamber Sentry, I'm threatening lethal next turn. So I hit for 7. Alright, sorry, Murmuring Mystic. Kind of like threatening lethal here. Got 1 turn to deal with some flyers. Or find a way to randomly lethal us. They do have 10 power on board if they discard a creature, but they would have to be able to discard a creature and clear out all 3 of our blockers to kill us. And it looks like that is not the case. We do wrap the Guilds of Ravnica drafts up with a 7-1 run with another Grixis control build. It was a very, very powerful deck. All of the Surveil payoffs with the Phantasms and the Spy Bugs. And Dimir just is such an inherently powerful archetype with all the Surveil that it has access to that we got to spend a lot of those games against aggro just trading off our huge payoffs just to stick around so that we could grind it out, winning those top deck wars. So really just showing off the power of the color pair again. So maybe a little bit of a boring, little bit dull, little bit sad way to end the drafts when you think about what it means for the color balance of the format that we just absolutely destroyed every time we played Dimir and kind of got crushed when we didn't. But hey, I will take a trophy run. I am fine with that. Again, I think Dimir is incredible in this format. Boros is also quite good, but personally in the draft pods that I've been in, it feels like Boros has been a lot more contested than Dimir has been. even though they're both really strong archetypes, so it's just a lot easier to end up with a super busted, super powerful Dimir deck than it is to end up with a really strong Boros deck, because there's just less competition for it, less fighting over the colors. But yeah, not too much to say here. I think I've said it all before about the color imbalance, about the power level of Surveil as a mechanic in general. It's just really good control-y Dimir stuff in this format. I guess the most unique thing we got for this deck was we got to do a Murmuring Mystic and Surveil payoffs this time around, which was pretty cool. Instead of just being 100% focused up on the full control route, this time we actually had some beefy win conditions of our own, some big, gigantic phantasms and spy bugs, and some really wide boards with all these illusions from the Murmuring Mystic. So that was kind of cool. Those cards are definitely sweet. I would take them very highly. And we did get to show off them both a little bit today. So very strong deck, very great record to end off the drafts of Guilds of Ravnica with a full prize out, 2,200 gems, and 6 extra packs. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.